You imagine somebody going somewhere. You imagine somebody going somewhere. They don't actually go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. You can only go into a dimension. But if the place I've been going for many years is to talk about and quote somebody that's taught that, but if somebody you're holding in mind, maybe a family member or a loved one, physically leaves, you imagine that they go to this place in your imagination that you call the world, which you have perceptually experienced through the ego as an image. Safeway, Walmart, Target. Walmart caliber is pretty high. I'm not sure if it still does. Probably. You can test it. And you can tell that they're not going anywhere because, for one thing, they're not the body. Because, you see, for a long time, one would think that they're subject to this and they have to be subject to that, the other thing, and that's duality. So in non-duality, there is no thing to be explained. But what I'm trying to explain, for the sake of dialectic, just for the dialectic, is that nobody's here and nobody's there and nobody goes anywhere. Nobody comes, goes, or leaves. And, well, I'm in that dimension that I was describing. You want something to manifest, so you hold something in mind. What I'm holding in mind is Doc's teaching. I have so many of them stored and accessible. It's almost full access, actually. Just about. Whoops. 1/10,000th of a second, you saw that? And the thinkiness of the mind, because the thoughts are going at the same speed as the words, which are like entranced by pearls on a necklace. You cannot share anything out there or in here except subjectivity, your invisibility. Even when you have an image on a phone and you send it and you get a response back, you're not getting your message back, you're seeing the message that was in the mind of the other person. But there's no connection or communication except by context. So the more expanded the context, the greater the context, the more power. But a lot of times, not only can the mind not tell truth from falsehood, which is bringing humility into the picture. Okay, now see, but on top of that humility, there's the desire to learn and understand oneself and others and their why somebody's here. And the reason I'm here seems to be to hold a frequency or a vibration or an energy and to learn from serious errors which were made along the pathway to enlightenment, along the book reading, and the errors, as you can see, they're because the mind cannot tell truth from falsehood, it will go into a automatic program. And so with humility, you have to see that what you're seeing in this place, you're going to Walmart or you're going to Target or you're going to the messages on Facebook, nothing is being spoken. So the communication could be about something profound, or it could be about something trivial. Something trivial. It's only important if you make it important. It's only profound if you make it profound. You see and reinforce out what you're out picturing, a projection of a separation and a duality, and that's in the 400s, 499. I've never gone past. I've had a video in historically called the levels below 540. So I was there. I'm not sure what that is. It means below 540. It could have been the 500s, but below 540. But quickly exposed to people, I couldn't get out of my head, and I'm still stuck in it. But that 500s it was there, because let me see, 499 is so the belief in causality is the blockade. You could have no understanding whatsoever of how the universe works or any of the things discussed online or in these groups, and be stuck in content. If what you are is invisible, nobody sees this. Nobody sees this. Because there's no separate person. The separate person is the so why am I here is to teach myself, meaning to teach that meaningful statement about non-duality and humility in Doc's teachings, and to uplift the consciousness by practicing the learning. Because I've had my own karma. I've had experiences of being programmed to be very aloof. And it's my intention to reverse that and to be friendly and not to have a spiritual ego, and to be kindly, be the field instead of the content of the field. And if there's anything that can be understood about supporting life for the sake of supporting life for its own sake and seeing the value in it, walking the dog, getting the mail, washing the dishes, and sanctifying it, and saying, "For thee, O Lord, do I wash these dishes," then your life becomes a prayer. And something deep within me knows, beyond structure, beyond form, absolute truth when it's heard it. And illusion when it knows it, because this is all illusion until we go through the final door. So we all share the karma, because I wouldn't be in the dog flock. I wouldn't be in the karma if it wasn't. I couldn't join it if I didn't have the karma of already joining it. And you know, by expanding context, the potentiality for the Heisenberg principle to take effect, the potentiality to collapse the wave function, the potentiality to go from particle to wave and spin is a prayer in an equal and opposite direction with no connection or causality between the protons, neutrons, and electrons. On the other side of the universe, with no relationship whatsoever, shows that there's a common matrix. So anybody that's spiritual, to keep their sanity and to keep their integrity, would need to see that there's a realm that quantum physics, quantum mechanics barely grasps, which is beyond Walmart, which is beyond Target and Safeway, and these monolithic thought structures which dominate the world of the ego. And beyond that, you have the words of the faith of your teacher. And he left in 2012, but we can do some kinesiology and find out if we have permission to ask where he is, if we have permission to ask what he is, what he's become, and it would be a topic for further research.